The race, Holly Starr here on CCFM's Breakfast with Friends. It's a Thursday morning, 13 minutes to 8 o'clock, and it always gives us great joy to be connected to Mr. Nico Kleynhans. Good morning, sir, and how are you today?
I am doing well today, and welcome also to the listeners.
Thank you, Nico. So this morning, it's something that we need to talk about. It's an important conversation, and that's to do with regard to the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Please take it away for us.
Okay. Now, normally when we broadcast from a studio, we create visual pictures in the mind of the listeners. So today we're going a step further, that we're actually going to, on the Facebook, show you a series of graphs. Please, if you are driving to work, don't suddenly stop and try and watch this on Facebook. The last thing Jonathan and company and CCFM want to hear tomorrow is that 3 listeners tried to watch the video while driving and caused an accident. Please be aware of the challenge. Now, I want to explain something that most of you hear at the end of the news. And it comes across as garbage because it's a lot of noise and people don't understand what this means. So what I've got on the screen now is an index of shares that trade on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. There are just over 600 companies whose shares trade. Now, in reality, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange is actually sitting in London. It's not in Johannesburg anymore, so that's why the FTSE comes in. So in other words, this is a Johannesburg Stock Exchange trading from Johannesburg, and this is an index made up of all the shares on the stock exchange. Now, as an index, it gives people like myself and people who are trading in shares regularly a snapshot of what is happening today. Now, the index is expressed in thousands, as you can see now. In the past 52 weeks, the day the index was the cheapest was 51,225 units, right, in other words. And that day, the cheapest day, would have been over here when the markets dropped to that low point. The day that the index was the highest in the past 52 weeks, it was 69,000, and that would have been around here. So that would have been the day it was the highest. This was the day it was the lowest. And yesterday, the index was 66,012, and that was the price over here. So yesterday, it was 66,000, 3,000 short of the all-time high. So it's about 5% difference. If you'd bought the index on this day and done nothing, just sat on it, you would today have 19,000.9, so 19.9% more money. Now, that's a lot better than you're going to get at the bank in a 12-month period. So the potential for making money on the stock exchange is real. But you need to have nerves of steel, and you need to understand what is happening. Because you can see, going back the year, the ups and the downs, it's not a flat graph. It changes on a regular basis. Yesterday, 207.59 million shares traded hands. Now, this graph also has little things down here, and that is the volume. So yesterday's volume of 200 odd million, that's where it shows. And you can see here there were days when considerably more than 207 million shares changed. So what is the purpose of this index. It's for those who want to see how overall the health of the companies are doing. The companies that are linked to the stock exchange, this is one place we can go that gives us an understanding of what is happening. Now, in the news, they also talk about the rand dollar exchange rate. And that is very important because it influences the prices. You see, we've got many companies in South Africa who sell their goods and get paid in dollars. So when the exchange rate moves in their favor, even although they're not more efficient, they're going to make more money. And so the mining industry, which tends to trade in dollars, coal, and a number of other companies, the reason we need to know the dollar exchange rate, it gives us an idea of the potential profits that those companies can make, and it helps us. Then also in South Africa, we are influenced by a lot of the Chinese companies because we've got companies here who buy shares in China. And so when the Chinese government gets into a fight with their companies, as is happening right now, TikTok, Alibaba, those kind of things, it will affect our prices as well. So when we are told that kind of news, we can understand why it is that the shares for that day might have gone up or might have gone down. This is why when you do start trading for the first time, please consult with somebody who knows more than you do. The bank companies who do the trading for the share platforms, they're really competent. They know what they're doing. Their costs are not extravagant. And those people who do the trading have learned how to separate the noise from bad news. So they know when it's important to react and when it's not important to react. And if you buy regular unit trusts and you're using a financial advisor, a certified planner, make sure it's somebody who actually has this as a skill. Because as you can see, a 19.9% return is a lot more than you're going to get from many other investment sources. So next time you hear the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, or next time you hear about FTSE, go onto this page, JSE FTSE All Share Index, have a look around, and then you can see what can happen. Now, this is the graph for 12 months. This is the graph for the past month. So you would have bought here, and you would now be here. This is the graph for the past week. But we generally look at the year graph because that cuts out some of the anomalies that happen. So I hope you have fun. And if you have further questions, just send them to questions@northwood.co.za, and I will try and see whether I can answer them in some of the morning breakfast with friends sessions. And let's become more equipped and more skilled and learn how it is that we can manage our finances. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nico. Always great connecting with you, and very interesting to look at those graphs. I also always remind myself that hindsight, we all have perfect hindsight vision. And so it's great to look back and say, well, if I had bought then and I sold here, then I would be so much better off. But we don't always know how the markets are going to go. And I think it's a valid lesson that we've learned today, that we've got to speak to somebody who knows way more than we do when it comes to things like this. So thank you so much, Nico. Appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.